Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a three-way driving comparison with the new Ford Escape, the Chevy Equinox, and the Jeep Compass to see which affordable American crossover drives the best. Before we get into this video though, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Ford Lincoln here in Provo, the Chevy here in Provo, and the Jeep here in Provo for giving me some time with all three vehicles. I'll include a link to all of their websites in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Let's talk about visibility before we escape in the Escape. You've got visibility over the hood, both of the mirrors, which do have blind spot monitoring. And there's the rest of the rear. And dial shifter away. So, what this looks like to me, judging by the specs and everything, is this is more of like an exterior redesign and then an interior redesign, and then they've, kind of carried over a lot of the mechanical stuff, and it seems like that's what Ford's doing with a lot of their vehicles. Like the new Super Duty, that's a great example of a vehicle that they just kind of did that with, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think it's good to overhaul the interiors, and if you've got powertrains that work, you've got powertrains that work. Now with this, wow, this 1.5 liter 3-cylinder, it is freaking peppy, that is for sure. So we're in normal mode right now. We're gonna pop it, okay, whatever. So I guess I have to re-pull this up. Okay, we're gonna pop it into sport mode now. See how that does. 1.5 liters of fury. This thing's quick. This thing's quick. You wouldn't think that it'd be as quick as it is, considering the fact that it has just 3 cylinders, but man, it moves. So to wrap things up with the new Escape, it drives pretty similar to the previous version, frankly. I think the suspension might be a little bit better, but it feels pretty much, it feels pretty much like the same SUV. So overall, I think they killed it with the design on the outside. I think the interior feels more modern, feels a little bit more upscale. And so, I think the benefits of this is more of just a better style compared to the previous version. But let me know what you guys think about the new Escape. I'll get reviews on more of the packages on this as they show up at the store. Yeah, that camera's really helpful actually. It's pretty solid. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this new Escape. Yay or nay on this one. Well, let us set off in the Equinox. And so obviously we're doing this back to back with the Escape. And what I do want to say is, right off the bat, they have similar, torque figures. This does have a bit more torque than that Escape, but this also has one more cylinder. And the thing that's interesting is it doesn't necessarily feel punchier. Honestly, they both feel super similar. And I kind of figured that these two would feel the most similar out of the bunch because, again, same displacement. Obviously a 3-cylinder versus 4-cylinder, but similar power outputs. The gearing's way different. So the 8-speed in the Ford, right, it kind of, it doesn't seem like it says long with the gears, whereas this is, it's a little bit longer. Makes sense, 6-speed versus 8-speed. So it's kind of interesting to see that. Get our acceleration here at the Equinox. Huh, interesting. Yeah, I think the Ford feels a little bit quicker. Interesting. I think a big part of that is just due to the gearing probably. But they're both super close. Yeah, that's super interesting. So summing things up here with the Equinox driving, I think it drives really well. I think the suspension is really comfortable. Has a solid feel to it. That's kind of just what a lot of Chevys have, which is nice. It's got a lot of features. That's a big benefit of the Equinox here. And I like the fact you can select the all-wheel drive. You don't have to be in all-wheel drive all the time. So you can get better fuel economy or get better grip, right? You get to choose. So yeah, pretty solid overall. But let's hop in the Compass and sum things up for this driving comparison. Okay, so setting off in the Compass. And I guess we saved the most expensive for last out of the bunch. Again, I understand this this comparison. So if you didn't see the walk around comparison, not the best comparison because we've got like a $34,000 Escape versus a $37,000 Equinox versus like a $39,000 Compass. So yeah, but it is what it is. Anyways, the Compass, it's I'm not gonna say, here's the deal. It's kind of hard to explain this. It drives, in my opinion, the best out of the bunch, but you might not be looking for what I'm looking for. So the reason why I feel like this drives the best is because the torque is the best. It gets up and moves. The transmission's really smooth. The ride quality, the damping is also better, but you do lose a little bit in handling with this. I would say I feel like the Escape probably handles the best. They've gone for more of like the floaty SUV feel. It's still like a small crossover, so it still is like, you know, lightweight in terms of the feel and the handling and everything, but it's more squishy with the suspension, which makes sense. It's a Jeep. Like, it makes sense as to why it would have it that way. So yeah, we'll get our acceleration, then we'll sum things up in a second. Okay, so let's get our acceleration here at the Compass. Yeah, definitely the most powerful. Definitely the most powerful out of the bunch. So, to fully sum things up, when it comes to exterior styling, that's going to come down to personal preference. I'd say that I'm torn between the Compass and the Escape. I like the sporty looks of the Escape, but I like this appearance too. And then interior-wise, this definitely feels the most upscale, but again, you pay for it. This is the most expensive vehicle out of the bunch. And so, yeah, I mean, feature-wise, the Equinox, I think, wins when it comes to features because it offers the most amount of features for the least amount of money. The Escape, I think, you have like the most option of like performance with that one because you can get it with the turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder, which has more power. So that one's like the most exciting to drive, I guess, from a sporty perspective. And then this, it drives the best in the form of like, it's the most comfortable, the seats are the most comfortable, and the engine, I think, as a base engine, is the best out of the bunch. Really good torque. And so, yeah, let me know. This would honestly be a pretty tough decision. I think for some people, it's just going to come down to budget, right? Which one fits in their budget, budget versus, you know, the options that they are must-haves for them. But yeah, man, I'm glad that all these vehicles are as good as they are because at least like you've got some really solid options in this segment. But let me know if you'd go Compass, Escape, or Equinox.